income kid. Mom's, maybe on Section 8 or welfare, whatever the case. Never been exposed to money. Family's never really made any substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
And now this kid has $500,000.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man. I've been looking forward to this. So.
Yeah, same here. I have as well.
Yeah,
sorry, my schedule's been a little bit hectic.
No, I mean, when you're that guy, what can you say? I'm lucky to be able to get this time right now. So
you're
I'm
that
good.
guy, not me.
Nah,
That's you.
Maybe in a small world. You're that guy in the big world.
I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you as well.
So we're here in Las Vegas at the podcast studio. You're based out of Las Vegas.
Yes, sir.
We have a lot to cover in this episode. Specifically, I want to talk about your business, how you got into what you do. I'll let you talk more about it, what it is you actually do, because it's very niche down, right?
Yeah.
You provide a very quality service to both teens and their parents and young adults and so forth. And I want to give you the opportunity to kind of talk about those things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. So kind of backstory, right? Sports.
Okay.
I fell in love with sports early. I'm 7, 8 years old. I'm like, this is it. Sports is life. So fast forward, and I'll kind of take a longer story and condense it down.
Yeah.
Fast forward, senior year of high school, was doing pretty good, led the area in rushing. I was a running back.
Okay.
Was doing good on the football field. Friday night, I was killing it. Right?
Where'd you go to high school?
Monrovia High School.
Okay.
Which is right outside of Pasadena. So, beautiful city. Yep, Southern Cal. So fast forward, senior year, I go to my coach. I'm like, hey, I want to play college ball. Like, obviously, I'm the man, right?
All right.
So he looks at me and he goes, well, you're undersized. So when recruiting's over, we'll find a small school.
A small school.
Yeah. And luckily, I didn't believe him, luckily. And granted, looking back, 5'7" on a good day, I was 155 pounds soaking wet. So it made sense. But as a young man, I didn't believe it. So I actually took matters into my own hands. I'm old school. I'm old, not even old school, old. So I hooked 2 VCRs together.
Wait a minute. What were we doing here?
So I'm making my highlight video. Okay. I got to make this video, right? So I hooked 2 VCRs together, played the VHS tape on one, recorded on the other.
Okay.
Made my own highlight video, went to my mom, told her I needed money to send these out to colleges so I can get a scholarship.
Okay.
She gave me $20. I went to Kmart. Spent the first 10 on blank VHS tapes so I could make 10 copies of my highlight video. Spent the next 10, because it was a little less than $1 to send them out at that time.
Okay.
And I sent them out to like 10, 15 schools. And ironically enough, 2 of them actually reached back out and was like, man, we love your film.
I love it.
You look like you could play at this level. The first was Oregon State. They said only downside was we have no more scholarship offers. Because now it's like February, you know what I mean? It's, recruiting's about done. Yeah. Most kids at that point knew where they were going already.
Right.
So couldn't do that because they wanted me to walk on, didn't have the finances, and out of state, going from California to Oregon. It was just a lot that I didn't understand. So it wasn't even an option. A couple weeks later, Northern Arizona called.
Okay.
I said, okay, I like that. Flagstaff, this looks cool. The pictures look great. So they say we have 1 scholarship left, and we want to offer it to you. I'm like, let's go. Coach Steve Axman, I remember like it was last night. Coach Steve Axman came to my house.
Okay.
Sat down with me and mom at the kitchen table.
So he came from Arizona to California.
Arizona, California, like within a matter of 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And he's sitting at the kitchen table, and he has a manila folder, and he opens it up, and it has my transcripts in it. I've never seen that many red lines and arrows of like, you failed this class, you got to take this over.
Wow.
And basically he was showing me that I had not taken care of business in class. And so in order to even accept this scholarship, I had to like retake English 2, retake algebra. And remember, I'm a senior. So I'm like registering for these little online weird classes, and then I'm doubling up. I'm literally taking like Spanish 1, and then we added Spanish 2 for that semester. Wow. Like I'm going out of my way. And long story short, it got to be about May, right? Be a month before graduation. And he was looking at the progress, and it just wasn't enough. And he, by the end of May, said, I'm sorry, Mike, unfortunately, we got to move on because I can't hold the scholarship. I got to give it to the next person up. And so literally crushed me. I'm 17, I'm depressed. I'm like, life is officially over.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I spent a year doing everything wrong. You know what I mean? In the streets, hanging out, trying to hustle, make some money. I'm just like, forget it at this point.
Yeah.
Fast forward a year later, I was like, man, I miss football. And I called an old coach. He said, just go to a junior college, you'll be fine. Played 2 years at Mount Sac, transferred to UNLV, accomplished my goal of playing Division I.
Look at that.
And the reason that story is important is because that was the catalyst for what I do today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just simply at 25, I said, you know what? I'm finishing college. What do I want to do? I knew I love entrepreneurship. I love business. You know, I was studying marketing. So everybody's like, go to the Strip and be the marketing director for Bellagio. You know, everyone's got an idea for you. Like, you'll make a quarter of a million.
It's in a hotel, it's in a casino.
Yeah, hotel, casino. It's going to be great. You're going to make money. And I was just like, not really sure. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to help high school athletes get scholarships because I can mentor and teach them everything that I had to learn the hard way. And everyone said, terrible idea. Never going to work.
How'd you come up with the idea? Just kind of hit you?
It just hit me because it was like I looked at my experience, and here's the part that means the most, or I guess that confirmed the thought. I left in 1999 from California. I finished playing football in 2003.
Okay, 4 years.
So about 4 years, came out of JUCO system, so did that. In that time, my oldest brother was strung out on crack cocaine. Wow. He had went from, being in the streets to just, actually, going through that process. My younger brother, who's a great guy, but he was still in and out of trouble at that time. My best friend was serving a 17-year sentence for multiple counts of armed robbery. These are like my family. These people
close to you.
From, third grade. This is my best friend all the way through. My nephew, who was 17, got tried as an adult, and they gave him, I think it was 14 years or something along there for robbery as well. And so I just kind of looked at it and went, man, I've been gone for 3 or 4 years. And all this has happened. And then I would look in the mirror and go, how did I get here?
Yeah.
My experience is different. I'm traveling on chartered planes with 100 football players. Yeah. We're going all over the country. We got boosters, spring break. Teammates are like, hey, my dad has a cabin. We're going to Big Bear. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. You know what I mean? Like, we're doing all the fun stuff. And then I'm looking at the reality of home and then the reality of here. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I could equate it to was football.
Yeah.
Sports.
Kept you out of trouble.
That was it.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? I got to do that. That's what I'm going to do for young athletes, and for me, at that time, of course, from my background, it was a lot of young black kids that I'm like, you love your sport, you love football, basketball, baseball. I'm just going to channel it, teach you discipline, teach you character, teach you all that stuff. And then one day you'll realize it was never about football or basketball. It was about developing you for life.
Yeah.
And now they understand it now that I've been doing this 21 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is, you have the side of your family that didn't go down the sports path, didn't have that opportunity that you created for yourself.
Yep.
And, they became kind of a product of their environment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, literally.
Where you also became a product of your environment. That environment being driven, sports, professionalism,
100%.
Staying dedicated and motivated and to do things. And even though your lives kind of run side by side in parallel, completely two different sceneries.
Yeah,
right?
100%. And so I looked at it simple, right? So I remember after that year of high school that I just did nothing for a year. Literally, I tried to work a couple jobs. I'm like, nope, that's not going to be it. Yeah. I just need to make some money, whatever. The only difference was I loved football. Mm-hmm. So I just missed it. Like, I looked at it like at 17, my senior year, I broke up with, in a relationship that I've been in since I was 7.
Yeah.
So it's like a 10-year, and now I'm like, no football. This is weird. And I just wanted to go play. I did not like school. I almost said it, but I said it. I hated school. I hated everything about it. I hated sitting in the classroom. None of it made sense to me. And so it wasn't that I was dumb, but I would not apply myself whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to play football.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and now it's time to, finish up and college is almost done. Now it's like, wait,
I can't play football.
But now I have some options.
Right.
Now, I can go into marketing. I can start my own business. Now I have a different mindset. I got relationships. I got connections here. Oh, my teammate, he's from Vegas, so he knows so-and-so.
Okay.
So it all started to come together, but it started with just the love of football.
Yeah.
That was literally it. So I just went, every kid I know that's 12, if you ask them right now, hey, what are you going to do? I'm going to the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm going to the NBA.
Yeah.
And instead of like dampering that or saying, no, you need a plan B, I say, cool. Well, let's do everything it's going to take to get there. And then one day you're going to look back and realize I was preparing you for life.
Yeah.
Not for the NFL.
Yeah.
If you're part of the 1% that make it, great. High five. We're going to applaud you. We're going to celebrate. But the other 99%, you're going to wake up and go, I could pretty much do anything I want to do. I'm prepared.
Yeah.
And that's how it started.
Dude, I love it. That's an incredible story because, you could have easily not gone that path, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that love sports, love football, but then don't do anything with it, right? They just keep loving it from the sidelines.
Yeah.
right? They, still bounce from job to job or breaking the law or whatever it may be, right?
Yep, 100%.
So I think I agree with everything that you have said, except for one piece. You're like, oh, I just love football. That's what did it. There's a switch inside where you're like, not only do I love football, but I'm going to do something about it, and I'm going to go back and play.
That part.
Right? So you went to a junior college, right? Which there are a lot of people out there that wouldn't be able to humble themselves to do that.
Yeah, that's
right?
fact.
Worked your way into UNLV.
Yep,
right?
had to get an AA degree at that junior college, so I had to focus on school. Because that was the
thing
only
that you
way.
didn't like.
Yeah, that was the okay. How do I get to a university? AA degree. Okay, I'll get an AA degree. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Gotta get it done.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So think back to when you first made the switch. You're like, okay, I'm going to make this a business.
Yeah.
Right. Do you remember who your first client was?
I do remember the first couple. Kind of a little cluster of people that trusted me.
Okay.
Out of the gate. So I'll tell you a short story that's kind of funny, right? One of my first clients, I met them at the Boulevard Mall.
Oh,
if you know about Vegas, you know the Boulevard used to be.
We're not going there.
Yeah, that used to be. Today is even worse, probably. But that was just a cool mall that a lot of people went to. And I was selling cell phones for Sprint PCS.
Okay.
At that mall, right?
I remember them.
And I recognized an athlete and his dad walking through. So I approached them, and instead of selling the cell phone, I sold them on
your service.
My service. Hey, I just started this business. Da da da. And long story short, they believed. They were like, "Let's do it."
Okay.
And they paid me for the service.
That's
and
awesome.
I was like, it's official. I'm a business owner. Like I just did it, And,
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure out the rest. And I started right then, that's what the conviction to say, dude, I'm going to make this. I'm going to go all the way, as far as I can with this.
Yeah.
And I remember having a laptop and had a guy designing a website for me. First website, phase1sports.com.
It's 2003.
It's 2003. So, back then, you got to invest, you got to put up your house if you want a website.
Not cheap back then.
It's like, you need $1 million and then we'll build it. And it's going to take us forever.
3-6 months.
Literally, right? So I remember having it built, and I remember looking at the website on my little laptop at the computer at Sprint, and my manager walked up and was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, oh no, and so instead of panicking, I just kind of turned the laptop around and was like, look, I'm making this website. I'm going to help kids get scholarships. He was like, Mike, luckily, you're my number one sales guy right now.
Okay.
Because if you weren't, I would fire you right now. But I'm not. But what I will say is, please don't do this on company time. I was like, deal. But he knew right then, okay, this guy won't be here that long.
Yeah.
Because he's like, once he gets rolling, he's out of here. And it took me about a little less than a year.
Okay.
And walked away.
Wow, that's exciting.
Last real job, or last time I worked for someone else.
Last W-2.
Yeah, last W-2 right then. Yeah.
And we all probably start. Most of us probably start down a path like that, where our end business ends up being a side hustle in the beginning, and then we grow it and we grow it and we grow it to the point where we can step away.
For sure.
And so forth. Some people step away sooner. Some people step away too soon. Sounds like you took the path that allowed you to kind of nurture the business and still have income coming in and so forth. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Now let's dive in and let's talk a little bit about what exactly you do, right? Because you're not a personal trainer.
Yeah,
that's not what you guys do.
No.
Not even close.
No.
Because I used to own 5 gyms.
Okay,
right?
yep.
I used to be the VP of Golds. I've had thousands of personal trainers.
Yeah, so
And I can clearly say what you guys do is not that.
No.
There's so much more involved with it. Personal trainer, what'd you eat? Let's train. How do you feel? Great. See you next week and so forth. And what you guys do is nothing like that. It's way more involved. So tell us in more detail.
I think, in a summary, it would be athlete development. Right. And I say that kind of widely because we're actually one of the few businesses that actually hits every single area of athlete development. From simple as our performance training, which we have a facility here, Phase 1 Elite. We also have one in Hawaii. So we're doing all the traditional speed, agility, quickness, plyometric training. So we're doing that. But we're also layering on top of that all of the development in the sense of making sure academically our athletes are taking the right classes and their core classes are lining up, making sure they don't go through what I went through coming out of high school.
And have to catch up.
And then we're also layering on life skills. So we're one of the few facilities, we're doing goal setting, we're doing time management, social media management. We're talking to them about how to build their own personal brand, why their social media is important if we use it correctly. So we're really taking them and saying, yeah, athlete is just one part of who you are. Now let's develop everything around it. So we're really creating that. And then once they get to that next level, we're also working very hard on getting them the exposure in order to get that scholarship.
Okay.
So I'm reaching out, I'm communicating with colleges, I'm helping athletes edit their highlight video. So we're marketing them as well in order to put them in a position to ideally have options coming out of high school. Like, hey, I have 3 colleges that I could choose from.
Yeah.
I'm going on visits. I'm doing that stuff. So we're really start to finish. You know, I have athletes as young as, 6th grade, 11, 12 years old, all the way up to pros, WNBA, NFL, pretty much every major league sport. We have athletes that are part of phase 1, and we just, start to finish, whatever they need. Yeah. And then as of recent, we've been venturing into the NIL side of it, now, the name, image, likeness. And
so NIL, I mean, this is a whole nother topic we can talk about.
Yeah, a whole nother thing, and new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it kind of, for me, I wasn't following college, like that aspect of college. I'm a college football fan, but like the behind the scenes of NIL stuff, I knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
And then one day I woke up and I was like, wait a minute, these athletes are making how much now?
They're getting paid.
Like they're actually, I mean, I'm good for them. I mean, because for the longest time they couldn't, right?
Facts.
But tell us what NIL is for somebody who doesn't know. Like, tell us what it is, why it's important, how it benefits and can hurt athletes and so forth.
Yeah, for sure. So NIL, name, image, likeness, right? So I know that's kind of a blanket, just kind of simple. Yeah. But in detail, what it really means, I guess in a summary would be college sports have made billions of dollars. It's not billions over time, but billions a year.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest revenue generating businesses in the world. Yeah. Right?
Not just the schools, but we're talking games.
We're talking games.
Numbers, jerseys,
concessions, jerseys, signatures, everything from boosters to, just everything.
Yeah.
Right? And up until 2021, athletes could not receive any financial benefit from anyone related to not just their sport, but even in general. So if a college athlete, if I own a dealership and I want to pay this college athlete just to be in my commercial, up until then, that was even illegal. Yeah. That would lose their eligibility.
That's crazy.
So it was really just a wild scenario of like, how can a business generate billions of dollars and the product that people are watching
doesn't even belong to them.
Doesn't even belong to them, and they're not compensated at all.
Right.
And then the excuse was, or the reasoning was, but they're on scholarship, so their education's getting paid for.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Okay, but you're also generating billions of dollars, and their scholarship is worth not billion. You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
It just wasn't an even playing field. It would be like paying an employee minimum wage, and then your business is making $3 billion a year. Yeah. It's like there's a lot of space between minimum wage, and so a lot of people were against it. The O'Banning brothers that played at UCLA years ago, basketball, they had one of the first big cases that they won, and that was their biggest thing. Was at that time they were, 2 of the biggest names in college sports, and they were being forced in a sense to go to these autograph signings and be at the banquet where they're selling tables for $20,000 and they're signing stuff, and then they walk out and they don't even get to eat at the banquet because that's a violation because it's providing food. Like, wow. It's extreme.
That is extreme.
Even when I played at UNLV, I've always had kind of the hustler spirit. Yeah. So I wanted to work, on the weekends or work during the off season.
Okay.
Do you know I had to report how many hours I worked and how much money I made because it was a cap?
Against your scholarship.
Yeah. So even as a student athlete working, I still was limited to how much I could even work. And I'm like, okay, dude, this is like, talk about handcuffed.
This is like, that's more restricted than military.
No, it's literally, it's crazy, man. So when everything passed and the settlement happened and everything was good, so they basically made it legal now for athletes, even as young as high school age.
Okay.
All the way through college to actually earn revenue, whether it be through brand deals, endorsements, basically anything that represents their name, their image, their likeness. Okay. So now they could be in that commercial.
That's
they
fantastic.
Could be on that billboard, you know what I mean? And now they're actually getting into revenue share to where a college coach or college program can even now pay an athlete to attend their school and play. And so it's definitely been a big shift, and it's happened
that's amazing.
Fast.
I've seen several stories in my lifetime of college athletes that, like, for all intents purposes, should be good enough to go pro, make big money. They don't because they get hurt at the school. Career's over. And now practically nothing on all the work that they put in.
100%.
So now with this NIL changes all of that.
Yeah, literally. It gives them the opportunity early to be able to learn, to be able to generate revenue, be able to take care of their family. Because you think about it, a lot of kids, a lot of student athletes that were coming out of high school, going to these big programs, and they're successful on the field, so everyone loves them. Boosters are going crazy, they're winning, and then they call home, and mom's evicted and can't even afford rent.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Or like, it's just stuff like that you like, how does this work? This kid is bringing us millions of dollars a year because he's the best quarterback, running back, whatever position, basketball player, any sport. And then they literally go home and their little brother and sister did not eat last night.
Yeah. That's
a
insane.
Weird balance to run for that long. It ran forever, basically.
As long as when did NIL became a thing?
2021.
I was going to say, it wasn't that long ago.
No, 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And even now, it's still not as widespread because we still don't even understand the rules.
Yeah.
The NCAA said, yes, you can do it now. But then everyone said, okay, what's the rules? Is there a certain limit? How much can we make? Who can we work with? So now it's weird because they open the gate and now they're trying to put parameters around it.
So let me ask you, because I'm not that educated about NIL, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there that are in the same boat. You remember the movie Blue Chips?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
Shaquille and Nick Nolte and somebody else, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that's a good one.
I come from that era where, like colleges can't pay to come to this school.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though I'm sure it happened behind the scenes many a times, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Does NIL float into the college itself as well? Can a college now endorse or pay an athlete to come to school there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So here's what happened. When the NCAA just kind of went, you can get paid. And they kind of left it there. It was like just a blanket, like whatever. Okay. It was like, whatever. What should we do? Sell drugs? It's like, we can make money however you want to. It's like, okay.
Put your jersey on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So what's crazy is everyone's always going to try to find a way to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
So what instantly happened is the university started forming what's now known as a collective.
Okay.
So a collective is Mike owns a business, Dakota owns a business, the Fertitas own a business, and we all love UNLV football or whatever the sport is. I say, I'm putting up $3 million a year. You go, I'm going to match it. And he goes, I'm going to match it. Now,
Fertitas better be putting up $30 million
they should triple. I mean, whatever we put in, they should they should be like, keep yours. Because obviously,
we got you.
Obviously, we're going to do this together. So long story short, they can generate as much as the collective comes up with. And this could be 5 businesses, 100 businesses, 1 business.
Right.
And now what they took advantage of it is they put together the budget, let the head coach know you have a $50 million budget.
Wow.
Go crazy.
Hey, I just wanted to take a second. If you're enjoying this video, we would really appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button just below, the thumbs up that gives us a like, and the bell to get notified whenever a new video comes out. We appreciate you. Now let's get back to the video.
College coach can now sit down with Dakota, the linebacker from Texas, that's a 5-star, and he's this and he's that, and go, son, we'll give you $3 million a year if you sign with us.
Yeah.
And no one can say anything.
Wow.
So now the NCAA is trying to come back and go, okay, that's not
what we meant.
It wasn't pay for play kind of thing. It was more endorsements and their name and this kind of thing. So now they came back full circle. Now collectives are technically illegal now. So if it's not an actual business agreement to where they're not marketing phase 1 or marketing your business or doing something legitimate, then it's now still considered illegal.
Okay.
But they did give the universities the opportunity to opt in to a revenue share model.
Okay.
So that's very similar to the collective. Only difference is it's actually governed by the conference. So like SEC, for example, may have $20 million a year in their revenue share pool. So now just like an NFL team, now it becomes about the salary cap. And so now a lot of universities have hired general managers now. And now the GM is managing the $20 million budget to say, you get 5, you get 3, you get 1, you get none.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing now in order to kind of offset and try to figure out a way to make it.
This is across all sports in college.
This is across all sports. Of course, all the attention is always on football and basketball, the more money revenue generating ones, but it trickles all the way down. So that budget will be for the athletic program.
Okay.
So each sport is allocated X amount based on that. And that's how they determine. So it's a pretty interesting time.
So thinking about what you're talking about, okay, collective's gone, but does that stop a business owner like myself from going to a college player and going, hey, if you sign with UNLV, I'll endorse you, put you on all my brands, we'll run some commercials and give you $3 million a year?
Yep, it does not stop it.
Wow.
The only thing they've done now, there's a program called NIL Go. That's the platform that now the NCAA recognizes. Okay. So basically, like, I'm a licensed NIL agent. right?
Okay.
So I have an account with NIL Go. So what that means is if Dakota says I'm going to pay this kid from UNLV that I represent $3 million a year to be in this, I have to submit that agreement to NIL Go to get it approved.
Okay.
They're going to do their due diligence. And one of the things that's causing a big headache right now is NIL Go is also going to determine market value and if the numbers make sense.
Almost like a valuation.
But everyone looks and goes, well, how do you determine that?
Yeah.
So now the big lawyers are going, okay, Tom Cruise makes $25 million for a movie. This actor makes $1 million.
Yeah.
How do you determine what this business wants to pay this athlete and what makes it beneficial to them? So now you can do it, but we're supposed to run it through NIL Go. And now they can say, you know what, Dakota, $3 million does not seem like market average for that athlete for that amount of commercials and billboards. So if you could readjust the dollar amount, we may approve it.
Up or down.
Up or down, depending on what. Yeah. So they're kind of that. And then the second thing they're doing, which is very important, is trying to find the relationship between you and the school. Are you a booster? Are you a longstanding supporter? Are you alumni? Are you so that way they can just determine, is this just a cover up that we're doing to get this kid $3 million, or is this an actual deal? And then they're looking at the execution of the agreement.
Wow.
Show us the commercials. Show us the social media. Show
the work
us
that they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Show us when they showed up at the studio. Yeah, and they actually had to talk about the car dealership.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it's interesting, man. It's
that's
crazy.
amazing. It's come so far. I mean, I'm glad. I really am glad for college students that they have the ability, because I mean, it was just wrong. It was wrong. I mean, you had video games that were making billions of dollars.
Yeah, that
off
was
their
the other big
likeness.
one. That was the other big one.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got NBA and NFL athletes are like, no, you can't use my picture. Pay me some money, right? You can't use my moves. Pay me some money, right? But then in the college level, it just wasn't happening.
You're all good.
Yeah.
Yep, all good. And the last piece I'll leave with NIL, because you asked about the pros and cons, or the good and the bad side, right? The big problem that I see is there's not enough education for the student athletes. It's like you make this decision. So the scenario I gave you earlier, where lower income kid, mom's, maybe on Section 8 or welfare, whatever the case, never been exposed to money, family's never really made any substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
And now this kid has $500,000.
A lot. What do they do with it?
What do they do?
How do they manage it?
How disruptive is that going to be to some of those families? How disruptive is that going to be safety-wise for some of these kids that grew up in these areas and now they got $20,000 chains on and stuff because they have no money management skills and because they've never had to have any? So my big thing is, and what I try to do with my athletes, and what I'm excited that some universities are now doing it, is mandatory education.
I love it.
Because they don't understand LLCs, corporations, taxes. Because remember, they're taxed now.
There's adults that don't understand taxes.
Yeah, so you just gave a kid $1 million and now you send him a tax bill.
He's like, what?
And he's like, $400,000 for what? You're like, but I spent it all.
Yeah, you end up like Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, you're going to be missing a game because you're in jail. So that's the part that kind of scares me a little bit, which is why I try to spend a lot of time educating, and even just in my social media content, like, let's talk about this. Because even whether I represent you or not, you need to understand that once you start making money, it's time to set up an LLC, get a business bank account, start getting some write-offs for that outfit you wore in the commercial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's start making it make sense. So you're building a business, not just a kid with a crap load of money.
And a bill.
And now you're trying to figure it out. Now you're behind. And like you said, you have some real problems because you owe the government a freaking $500,000.
Or you get hurt.
Or you get hurt, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
You provide, services to educate them and help them with the NIL process and so forth. But you get a new athlete, okay? And we'll talk about how you get your athletes and how you meet them and so forth, because you've been in business long enough to where you probably have a huge referral base. But you get a new athlete, like, what's the process look like? You sit them down, you analyze what their strengths and weaknesses are. At some point, you come up with a game plan, and so forth. Tell us about that.
Yep. No, it's exactly that. So the initial consultation is really just to get to know the athlete.
Okay.
What I typically like to do is get ahead of it. So right when an athlete, I know I'm going to have a meeting, just like any other business, I'm going to do a little research. So I'm going to watch some film. I'm going to, look at their measurables. I'm just going to kind of do my own little analysis.
Okay.
So that way when we meet, I have an idea of strengths and weaknesses, potential, max potential, low potential. Where does this land at? And then from there, once I sit down with the family, now I need to understand the goals. What are the individual goals?
Yeah.
And since I deal with parents and athletes, These
not
are
always their goals the same.
These are separate. Sometimes this mom or dad is like, Division I, we're gonna change the world, and the kid's like, I just like hanging out with my friends. I'm like, well, mom, I don't think this is the right program. But so really understanding that, and I do that right at the table with the whole family. I'm like, okay, Good. Dad, you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that okay, mom, you go. Okay, now athlete, what do you want? Mm-hmm. And then now I could kind of marry all those together to get a real clear picture of what we're doing.
I'm going to assume it probably tells you who's the motivation behind those decisions.
No,
right?
yeah, who's the driver?
So like in our family, we let our daughter play volleyball, right? We don't force her to play volleyball. Yeah. We just kind of let that organically grow, that seed kind of grow inside of her. And then once we noticed that it was something that she enjoyed, we would push and motivate her.
Now you push.
But never once we were like, you're going to do this. No. You're going to do that.
You can't do that. Yeah. And it's so you hit it on the head. So I tell parents before they sign up, I say, okay, tell me some characteristics of your athlete. Mm-hmm. Because if you're still motivating them to get out the bed, if they don't want to go to practice and you're like, come on, we're going to be late. If you're doing all that, then this is not the program for you. Yeah. Because that kid or that athlete is not motivated. Yeah. And so that means I'm going to need you at every workout to push them. You know what I mean? And
100%.
So I always tell parents, look for the cues. And once you see them, now you pour a little gasoline on it. Now we provide the resources. Now they're in a phase 1. Now we're looking at supplements and nutrition. Now we're looking at recruiting, because now I could put it all in play. Yeah. Because that kid, I tell them, if your athlete is not the one that's tapping on your door, like, come on, I'm going to be late. You got to go. I don't care if they're freaking 11. Yeah. You know what I mean? By the time they're 11, 12 years old, you got a pretty good idea of what your kid, like kind of what their motivation is. Are they in the room at night doing push-ups and sit-ups? You know what I mean? Or are you telling them you should be doing push-ups, sit-ups? And they're like, yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. So once I kind of get through all that, now it's easier to put together that game plan. Yeah. And then that's what I literally call it. I sit down, I go, cool, I'm going to create a game plan. And, same thing with your daughter. Mm-hmm. It's a game plan. Yeah. Okay, we're going to train this many days. We're going to do this. Okay, what's practice schedule? What's this look like? And now I'm just kind of merging all that together. And if we're on the same page, we get after it. Yeah. And I tell them show up Monday, then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday. You know what I mean? Because it's a process. Yeah. It's not going to happen overnight. We're going to work for months and months and even years. Yeah. And then at the end, we'll see how it all comes together.
It's funny, as you're telling the story, I'm hearing so much of like our journey in your story. For example, I come from the fitness world. Yeah. Been in the fitness world basically my entire adult life. Yep. I have a degree. I have studied nutrition. We used to own gyms. Yep. I'll have a conversation with my daughter, Haley. Haley, if you're watching this, pay attention. I'll have a conversation with her about nutrition. You should eat right. You should let me cook some chicken breasts. I'll make you a meal plan. Da, da, da. And it's like, in
one ear, out the other.
You or True or any of your coaches has a conversation with her about nutrition. And it's like, Mom, Dad, we need to go shopping. I have a whole list of food I need to get. And she like
I gave you this list 2 years ago.
My point is that I learned many, many years ago after trying to train my wife how to work out that like I got to a point where it was like after 6 months of trying to train my wife, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to hire you a trainer. Yeah. Because she listened to the trainer more than she listened to me. It was always like, why am I doing that? Why am I doing this? Yep. And we took the same approach with Haley. It was like, okay, look, she's clearly not receptive because we're her parents. Yep. Right, we're just going to keep nurturing and keep letting it organically happen. And then when we introduced like a coach and then a training coach and in your company and so forth, that's when it all just started coming together. Yep. And now blows me away. Mm-hmm. Like she's up at 5:30 in the morning. Putting her meals in her lunchbox. Yep. We've offered to pay for school lunch, and she's like, "No, she's going to pack it." She's got chicken breast. She's got her cup of rice or whatever maybe, and like it's completely different.
No, 100%. And I'm not a Bible scholar by any means, but there's a verse in the Bible that a king is without honor in his own country. Yeah. That's what I always tell parents. I'm like, you're the man, but in your country, which means with your kids, they're not listening to you past about 12 years old.
Yeah, you're not the expert anymore.
It doesn't matter. You're dad. Just leave it at that, right? And so I'll tell you a short story. Jonathan Ogden, NFL player, played with, I think, the Ravens for like 20 years. Yeah. All pro, yellow jacket, Hall of Famer, first ballot, all that good stuff. This is when I knew it was real. He had a son that was in middle school, and I get a call, and he's like, yeah, Jonathan Ogden. I'm like, Jonathan Ogden? I'm like Jonathan Ogden? He's like, yeah. So he comes in, 6'8", whatever, son's young. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, I want you to, I want to put my son in your program so you guys could train him and da-da-da. I'm like, so we could train him, but you're Jonathan Ogden.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but he won't listen to me anymore. And I'm looking at the kid like, do you know who your dad is? Your dad's a freaking legend, NFL Hall of Famer. And he's like, won't listen to anything his dad says. Eat this, do that. No, your dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even with you watch your dad on TV, your entire lifestyle is built around your dad being a great football player. You play football the same position and you're not listening? I'm like, well, I guess I'll be in business for a long time.
Very long time. Very, very long time.
Yeah, I was like, that's my guarantee.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that story. You work in a niche that I would imagine running a Facebook ad is probably not the most effective thing for finding the quality of athletes that you're looking for. You have a huge networking. Like I know for the way we found you was through Haley's volleyball club, right? Which I'm grateful for every single day. How do most of your athletes come to find you?
You're right. So we do a minimum amount of like ads and stuff. When I say minimum, I'm talking like a couple $100 a month at the most. And we only do those typically for like just brand awareness.
Okay.
I know that those are I'm just trying to plant seeds.
Sure.
I'm not necessarily waiting for them to come in. I'm not waiting for the phone to ring because that's not necessarily our audience, right? Okay. So what I've done is really fine-tuned the grassroots marketing. And it goes to the old cliche, go to where your clients are.
Yeah.
It's that simple, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned volleyball, for example. Twice a year, they do tryouts. Just an example, right?
And it's a big deal. I don't know if you've ever been to one, but
tryouts are
massive.
Chaotic. It's crazy. There's hundreds of athletes.
Feels like
every
draft
division. Day. Yeah, everyone's nervous.
Everybody's sitting by their phone. Like, am I going to get my? Please, am I going to get my invite?
Pick my kid. Yeah, and it's extreme. So picture this for my business. Me being at that tryout, and then after each session, when they do the parent meeting, Mike gets up and just talks for 5 minutes. Yeah. That alone is me going directly to my audience, directly to my market, parents' attention, and it's a hostile environment because they're trying out for a team. So if they don't make it, they already know right off the top, we got to work on our vertical. We got to work on this. We got to work on that. So what about this guy that just spoke to us? Yeah. If they make the team, even better, guess what? They get to work with phase one. They get to understand our program. So for me, it's really always been going straight to the niche. Yeah. Like I don't deviate from it at all. I get people all the time, hey, why don't you pay for this ad or pay for this banner or pay for this? I'm like, that's not my audience. You know what I mean? I'd rather go, like, I'll give you a prime example. Last weekend, Saturday morning, I went to 3 youth football games. Fun time. I'm watching little kids.
They were, I went to one on Saturday. It was pretty fun.
It's awesome, right? So now imagine, that's work for me. Yeah. Because I'm marketing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I have parents coming up and people like, oh, you're in phase one, right? I got my shirt on. I'm hanging out. A couple kids that are already in our program. They're being, they're doing their job on the field. Yeah. So parents are going, talking to other parents. Hey, your kid looks faster. He looks this. Oh, he's been at phase one. So I just really looked at it simple. I said, okay, if I'm going to spend any energy, whether that be money energy or time energy on marketing, I'm going straight to the niche. Audience, So a couple weeks ago, before football season started for high school, I reached out to a couple coaches. Hey, man, I know you're having a parent night or something pretty soon because you got to, talk to the parents about what we're doing. And try. Could I come speak for 5 minutes? Yeah, sure, Mike. Cool. Get up on stage. That's my audience. I know those parents are 9th grade all the way through seniors, and they're just going to listen. Yeah. Captive audience.
They all want to go to the NFL.
They all want to get that scholarship and then eventually to the NFL. So I just really doubled down on the niche. Yeah. Literally, wherever my athletes are, that's where I'm trying to hang out.
Now, your company's grown, right? Because you're in Hawaii and Vegas, and you don't train all of these athletes yourself. You don't do everything yourself. I'm assuming. I know behind the scenes, I met a couple of your coaches. Yep. Like, do you ever task them with going out and doing this with you, or is it always your face?
It's mostly mine, right? But what I do is there is a commitment for all of our staff to attend games, right? So I don't necessarily lean on them as like marketing, like I need you to go out and talk to parents and bring people in. That's more my niche, and I love it anyway, right? Okay. And it's just like you said, I'm not training anymore. I'm not on the gym floor.
You're the face of the business.
So I'm more the face. So I actually, I don't do much during the week other than laptop work and marketing stuff. Right. And then on the weekend, so me going to 2 high school games on a Friday night, 2 high school games on a Saturday morning, and then watching college football, and then watching NFL, I worked. Yeah. That's like 3 days, right? Yeah. So with them, I look at it, but even then, it's not necessarily the marketing, even though there is a benefit of that, of my staff going out to games. Yeah. It's the relationship. Yeah. You know what I mean? 100%. How does your daughter feel when her trainer shows up to the game, like, hey, let's go.
That's my trainer.
Yeah, like my trainer's here. Now they're a little nervous, but they're excited.
Yeah.
And then it also helps the result, because when a trainer gets to watch you compete, now when you get back to the gym, like, hey, we got to work on this.
Yeah.
We got to work on that.
Here's what I noticed.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Now, I love when you did this, but I got to get your lateral movement quicker, because you could have got to a couple more of those balls. Now that relationship is just cemented in.
Yeah.
And now that athlete's probably going to be there for 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, and longer if they end up going to college, because even our college athletes come back and train during the off seasons and summer. And so, so it's more, when they're out, it's more for that, more that, you know, showmanship and being a part of that athlete's real journey.
Sure.
I'm out for a combination of that, as well as just simply marketing, saying, hey, I love
everybody's got their role.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, it's the same way our business works. I'm like the face of the business.
Yeah.
But when it comes, like, somebody will be like, hey, what's going on my website? And I'm like, what website?
Like, I haven't even seen your website.
I don't know. Yeah. We're doing a website for you? Okay. So, like, I'll put them in contact with the tech team and the team who handles all that. But yeah, like, I'm the same way. Like, all the marketing materials are me, the courses are me, and so forth. And it's like, you have to have your brand be your business brand, right?
100%.
So you are your business brand, right? I am my business brand. They're not buying into just phase one. They're buying into what Mike Waters built at phase one
100%.
and what he's controlling, what he's growing, and so forth.
No, 100%. And that's it, because if you think about it, it's the brand that they're buying into, because we're not the only ones that do what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like you're not the only one that do what you do. Like, we use your company, we love it, but it's the service. You know what I mean? It's when we compare previous experience with your team, it's night and day. And it's like, no brainer. Like, we're here, you know? So it's same thing. So I think any business owner has to understand that their brand, their personal brand, marries the business brand. And that's what people are doing. And if you think about it, it's really, I don't know how many years, but I would say it's something that probably shift. You might even be able to help with this one. When it shifted to personal brand over business brand. Because back in the day, it was just Coca-Cola. Oh, we knew Coca-Cola. It's a big brand. Now it's like Jeff Bezos, Amazon. Yeah. Elon Musk, Tesla. Like, there's a name next to everything 100%. Now, where before we didn't know who the owner was.
The first memory I have of it being shifting like that was Michael Jordan.
That's a good
when
one.
Nike decided, you know, we're going to build a brand within a brand off of a person.
Yeah, we're not just going to call it Nike and make you put you in a commercial. Yeah. These are Jordans. Yeah. This is your brand.
Yeah. Now it's no longer a brand within a brand. It's Jordan is its own brand.
It's its own brand.
Like, it survives on its own.
That's
right?
good.
I can't think of another situation where prior to him that happened, and he's kind of paved the way for a lot of other athletes as well.
And that was what, probably 86-ish, 80, somewhere mid-80s?
Somewhere in there.
Wow, that's interesting. I love that. Because I've been like, that's how my brain thinks. It's like, when did it shift? And I think that is a great starting point. Of it was Jordan brand. It was his logo, the Jumpman. Like, we had never seen, no one's ever seen that before. That's
they
awesome.
built an entire shoe around him. Which awesome. That shoe became one of the top 10, 15 companies in the world.
Yeah, literally.
Something like that.
Literally. Love it. That's awesome. Yeah. Yep.
So Phase One Sports, right? That's the name of your company, right? You're in Las Vegas. Where in Hawaii are you?
We're at Kapolei.
Kapolei.
Yep, Kapolei, Oahu.
And so you get people and students coming from out of state to Las Vegas to train, or is it mostly people in Vegas and Hawaii?
Yeah, mostly people in Vegas and Hawaii, but our recruiting program, where we help mainly focus on helping athletes get scholarship opportunities, things like that, those are from all over. So we have athletes in Texas, Florida, New England, you know, they're all over. And those are the ones that I call it quarterbacking. I quarterback their whole thing. Okay. So, you know, hey, I did some research. These are the top 5 gyms that I like in your area. And I've already reached out to each one to talk about you. So now I would say go to one of these 3. You know, hey, send me your highlight film every week. We got to break that down and analyze it. Cool. So next week we need to work on this. Okay. So I'm basically managing, I call it quarterbacking from a distance, you know, for even the athletes that are out of state. But the ones locally, of course, are just a little more hands-on because I'm seeing them a couple times a week, you know, and it just makes it a little bit more effective, I would say. Yeah.
One of the biggest questions I have, I'm still learning ins and outs and so forth, is I know that there's an age, or maybe it's a grade, I could be wrong, where recruiters for colleges, specifically, are not permitted to talk to high school students. I'm still confused in what that is. Like, is it after their sophomore year? Like, at what point can a college now reach out to a potential student and start recruiting them?
Yeah, so right now, pretty blanket across most sports. Some vary a little bit, but typically now it's August going into your junior year.
Okay.
So basically after your sophomore year ends, at the
basically
end of
in
that
the
summer, right before you get ready to start school, is kind of more of a blanket, right, for most of the sports. And then there's also, off the top of my head, I believe 4 different periods of time, even after that point of when they could communicate. So, for example, there's contact periods where you can be in contact with a coach, but no in-person visits or no home visits.
I see.
Then there's evaluation period where they can come watch a game or come to your practice, your spring workouts or whatever you're doing in person. Then there's a quiet period where you can communicate with them, but they can't communicate with you. Then there's a dead period where nobody can talk to anybody. And the dead periods are typically like holidays, like during Christmas time. They don't want colleges bugging you while you're freaking eating dinner, Christmas dinner. And then also like during finals. You know, they know it's finals week or whatever it is, end of the school year. So it's a dead period. You can't leave them alone while they finish their finals. So it's that starting point, and then it's those contact periods. What I think people need to really pay attention to, especially when it comes to recruiting, because I've had athletes that have been discouraged at times. And they're like, dude, I haven't heard back from anyone. And I'm like, dude, you're a sophomore. They can't even reach out right now. You know what I mean? Now you can, continue to call, continue to build relationship. You might get simple answers like, thank you. Because they know they can't go in deep. They can't overly recruit you at that point. Then I tell them even after that junior year, it might be a dead period. It might be a quiet period. You know what I mean? Like you have to look at that, because if you're sending out messages and nobody's hitting you back and you pull up the calendar and it's a dead period, it's not because you suck. It's because your timing sucks.
They can't reach out.
They can't, even if they love everything about you. So it's just really educating people on that process. But I will say this, now recruiting has gotten so competitive that I just wouldn't wait to start. I'm talking and I tell people like this, freshman year, if you're on varsity as a freshman or you're on a competitive club or travel team, like competitive, not your local team, just competitive, I would start as soon as freshman year.
Wow.
Yeah. If you have those things in place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, question, can a college recruiter reach out to a third party that is not the student and talk about the student?
They can, very minimum, right? So like, for example, we're registered on that level as a recruiting service. So the way it's worded through NCAA is they could communicate with me and receive all the information about my athletes, but I cannot, based on NCAA standards, promote one individual person or one individual athlete. So what I can do is, for example, we're heavy into football recruiting right now. I have about, 18 or so football players in my recruiting side for this year. So those 18, I could send that email out with all 18 of their info, their highlight video, and then we could have that conversation about them collective or even individually, but I just have to include everybody. I can't just say, here's my one
check
athlete,
this guy out.
And now I'm trying to promote that one kid. As a recruiting service, I have to provide, they call it minimum information on each athlete in my program. Height, weight, vertical, blah, blah, blah. And then my actual personal evaluation. Hey, very explosive, great hands, da, da, da. And now that makes it a recruiting service. And now a coach can skim through that whole list and pick who they want to pick.
What sports do you currently service or offer?
Yeah, so football is my number one sport, well, obviously because I played it. Volleyball, we've had some pretty good success with volleyball. And soccer is another one that's been pretty successful. We have about 5 Division I soccer players just in the last like 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, so they're doing real well. Baseball, not as much, only because they, their recruiting kind of is in-house through all their like tournaments and the trap. It's a little bit different in baseball. Like, I mean, they got kids that are ranked top 100 freaking 6U. Like, it's pretty excessive. Like, baseball's crazy.
Wow.
Even at that young. So, I mean, I have a 12-year-old kid, and he's already on the radar of every single college in the country, and he's 12.
Old.
Yeah, Dallin McCants. And good kid, great young man, literally young, but he's, he gets flown out to guest play for this team, and it's
that is crazy.
I mean, literally, like, I'm talking about like private jet.
Good for him,
to
man.
go play in Florida for 3 days. Like, it's crazy. So that sport, we don't do as much recruiting because it's kind of built in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm willing to work or help with any athlete, honestly, just because at the end of the day, it's just about giving them an opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's what we do.
That's awesome. Now, back to this NIL thing just for a second, because something came to mind. I heard you say something like they can get paid as young as in high school. Have you seen high school kids making NIL?
I have seen a couple high school kids already making NIL revenue, and it goes by state. But right now, I want to say off the top of my head, there's about 20 to 30 states where it is good for high school athletes to participate in NIL. And what that looks like, which I kind of love it, and this is what I kind of educate people on, because everyone thinks NIL, they think like Nike, Adidas, and all the big brands. Oh, but they're typically not going to pay a
high school to get their own shoes.
Yeah, you're not going to have your shoe at whatever Vegas high
unless
school.
Unless you're Kobe.
Yeah, now if you're Kobe, you probably got a head start. But what I try to teach them is go down to the local level and see if you could generate a sponsorship.
Yeah.
What that looks like. So a deal we did last year. What that looks like is pizza spot down the street from your high school. You're a football player.
Yeah.
Right? You go to that owner, small mom and pop, go to that owner and say, look, you pay me $500. I'm going to promote to all the students at our school. I'm a popular football kid. Everyone follows me. Everyone loves me. And all my teammates, after our game Friday night against so-and-so, which is our big game, I'm going to promote to have everyone come over here and get a couple slices of pizza.
I love it.
So you got to stay open that night until at least midnight, because our game doesn't end until 9:30.
Right.
But from 9:30 till midnight, you're going to sell
more pizza,
$5,000 worth of pizza, and all I want is $500.
Yeah.
Are you down?
I love it.
You get an owner, mostly are going to go, yeah, let's try it.
I don't want to turn this kid down.
Yeah, and his kid, and it's $500.
Yeah.
Worst thing that could happen is we barely make our $500 back, but more than likely, we're going to triple that, even if we're selling freaking slice by slice.
Yeah.
Who cares? And it's good because now you feel like you're part of the community and you're helping this kid. And so that's
getting their name out,
getting their name out, and then that kid's getting the experience. This is a business deal. So I encourage the business owner even after that. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, I gave you $500 that night. We made $650. How did you promote? You know what I mean? Like develop them, and now they start understanding that, man, this is like a real business. And the bigger I build my brand, the more successful, and now the more money. Because if that pizza spot made $5,000 that night, guess what? Next month you can go back and be like, I need $1,500. We already know. We already know
what's gonna happen.
Yeah. So I love it, man. It's just the education around it.
It's interesting how many business owners I've met that used to be athletes.
Yeah.
I think it just takes a different mentality to be an entrepreneur. You got to have your own self-drive, self-motivation. Like nobody's gonna wake you up every day to be like, hey, go to work. It's your business. Yep. Athletes just are ingrained with that type of mentality.
100%. Yep. And that's, so I have a brand that I don't really promote a lot because it's kind of, I'm a little early and I'm still really deeply engulfed in what I'm doing.
Sure.
But it's called Athlete to Entrepreneur.
I like that.
And it's exactly what you said. And the reason I started that brand is because so many athletes get done playing, like college, for example, and they've had a great college career and now they're done. There's no pro. They're ready for the real world, and they come back, and they usually come to me, and they're like confused. They're like, "What do I do? What do I do? I play football. All I know is basketball. All I know is football, baseball. What do I do?" And I literally have to wake them up and say, "All right, whatever you decide to do, you're already prepared."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, well, I always wanted to start a business. Okay, cool. Let's talk about business characteristics. Discipline. Are you disciplined? Yeah, you went to practice at freaking 5:30 in the morning since you were 11 years old.
Yeah.
You went through Hell Week and boot camp and this and that and wins and losses and this coach got fired and this coach didn't like you and then you were starting and then you were hurt and then those are all the things that prepared you to be successful. Now you just have to apply those same rules and I guarantee you're going to win. And they're
Give
like,
me chills.
And you can see their eyes like,
yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm like, yeah. And that's back to what I told you in the beginning. That's why I tell them in the beginning, it's about football, basketball, baseball. One day you're going to wake up and realize it had nothing to do with that.
I'm grooming you for life.
Yeah, nothing to do with that. And it's cool to see it now that I've been doing this for a while, to see it on the ones that went to college and maybe it wasn't a great career, but they got there and they made it cool and they're done. And then it's also cool to see the ones like Brandon Marshall, who's a local Cimarron kid, played for the Broncos, Super Bowl champion, all that good stuff.
Big boy. Yeah.
He's my guy. Been with me since he was a sophomore at Cimarron High School. But what's cool is he opened his restaurant recently. Guess who he was meeting with as a business coach for his restaurant?
I love it.
He's like, Mike, I want you to just coach me. We open it, help me out. Da, da, da. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you're already prepared. I've been training you for this the same way I was training you for college, same way I was training you for the NFL. now we're just switching it over to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Same rules apply.
Exact same rules apply.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Well, fantastic, dude. How do people find you?
I spend probably the most time on Instagram.
Okay.
Just for whatever reason. Mike Waters, MikeWaters, Mike Waters P1
So
for phase one.
Instagram.com/Mike Waters P1. MIKE Waters P1 for phase one. Takes them to your Instagram. Do you have a website?
Yep. Phase1sports.com. PHASE and the number one sports.com. Is the website.
So not one spelled out, but the number.
Yep, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's the website. If you are on X or Twitter, Mike Waters P1 on there as well.
Okay.
So I try to keep it real simple, but I'm an open book, man. So anything people need, man. I just love helping people. So I get messages every day, and it's not about money or pay. It's just, hey, what do you need? If I have the answer, I'm going to share it with you. If we work together, great. If not, great. But I'm a resource.
Yeah.
So it works.
Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate it,
Thank
bro.
you very much.
Thank you so much.
Always good seeing you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Let's keep it going.
100%. All right. If you are not subscribed, if you haven't already liked this video because it's amazing and Mike Waters is in it, make sure you click that thumbs up, the bell, the subscribe, do all the jazz thing that you're supposed to do. You know where it's at. It's down there. Go get it. Good seeing you. Next time.